The leading candidates in the race for Honolulu's 1st Congressional District faced off in a forum tonight during which Republican Charles Djou said unused stimulus money should be given back to help combat the federal deficit. And Democrat Hanabusa says she wants to find out why Hawaii hasn't used all of the federal stimulus funds available. KITV4's Keoki Kerr is here live with a recap. Keoki.
Well, Paula, the election is just under 3 weeks away, and tonight the candidates had different approaches to lessen the federal deficit. Hundreds of millions of dollars in federal stimulus money have been set aside for projects in Hawaii, like rebuilding some of the state's aging bridges and roadways. But at a Chamber of Commerce election forum tonight, Republican Charles Djou said the federal government should stop spending any unused stimulus money.
Canceling all unspent stimulus funds. Although 70% of it has been spent, there's a good chunk that has not. Let's return that back to reducing our budget deficit.
The parent company of Hawaii's Central Pacific Bank received $135 million in federal bank bailout money known as TARP funds. Djou wants to return any unspent TARP money as well.
The Toxic Asset Relief Program, which started off as a good program to stabilize the financial markets, but has turned out into a bailout program for large corporations. Let's get rid of that, return that back to budget deficit reduction.
His Democratic opponent, Hanabusa, says the country's previous Democratic president left the country in good financial shape, and a Republican got us into huge deficits.
President Clinton left us with a surplus, not a deficit, a surplus. Then, under 8 years of President Bush, we had the Bush tax cuts and we had the 2 wars.
Hanabusa says wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, as well as Bush tax cuts, are responsible for about 80% of the federal deficit. And she says to fight the deficit, Bush-era tax breaks for the wealthiest 2% of Americans should be allowed to expire in January.
It expires because even under President Bush and the Republican Congress, it had to expire, or it would have cost us greater money.
Now, in a lighter moment during the debate, both of the candidates were asked what their career plans were back when they were in high school. Hanabusa said she planned to become a lawyer, and a vocational inclination test she took her senior year at St. Andrews Priory showed she should be either a lawyer, a general, or an architect. She became a labor attorney. And Djou said he was inspired to get involved in politics after volunteering for the congressional campaign of Republican Pat Saiki back in 1986 during his junior year at Punahou School. Now, Djou won a special election this past May and now holds that seat in Congress that Saiki once did. Paula?
All right, Keoki, thank you very much.